AI is never meant and is not going to replace your job. I promise you, your job is safe. Hey creatives, it's Kay, back with another video. If you're new here, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get on to today's video. And also guys, I'm so close to 55 subs. If y'all could please get me there. I'm going to scream. And I know you guys are like, girl, it's only 55 subs. 55 subs? See, this is what I need y'all to think about. I need you to picture yourself in a room of 55 people and telling those 55 people about your life, your circumstances, the advice you'd give them, even some personal stories. And it's like, it takes a lot to do that. So please give me the 55 subs and let's get on to today's video for real. So judging by this title, you guys already know I am a black woman in tech, and this video is mainly about like my journey through tech, what it's like now, the good, the bad, and definitely the ugly. Let's just start where it all began. So I originally came to college to be a child psychiatrist. And I know you're like, child psychiatry, tech, where did that all happen? Granted, I came to college as a first generational college student. And what that basically entailed is I wanted to go to medical school, but I didn't really know what it took to go to medical school. So throughout my whole college career, up until like the middle of my junior year, I wanted to be a child psychiatrist. I did a social science internship, and then I had a talk with a friend of mine. Her name was Kendra, shout out to her. And she was preparing to go to medical school. She was applying and things like that. And as I just kind of started to talk to her, and also along with some other friends who are planning or about to go to medical school, I realized that wow, I do not want to be in school for that long. And then also throughout the course of my college career, like I just really stopped being passionate about medicine. Like I feel like college was really the stepping stone and figuring out who I was and what I wanted to be, and wasn't really the end all be all of what I wanted to be. Throughout college, in April of 2020, I created my own photography business. So that's how I was able to get my dog. That's how I was able to find a more creative outlet for myself and what I wanted to do as far as my career went. Junior year ends, and during the summer, I have no internship, got me a $15 an hour customer service job, and I was just like, wow, I have to figure my life out. There was a short period where I wanted to do nursing, but then again, as I said, who wants to go into medicine? And so throughout that summer, I was just researching different careers and stuff, because it's the end of my junior year, about to enter my senior year. I need to figure out kind of what I want to do with my life. And so that's how my mom was like, oh, I know a UX designer that works for the company. And I was like, what's UX design, you know? And so I was like, okay, let me look it up. Let me Google. I typed in, what is UX design? What is a UX designer? What do they do? And they basically make mobile apps and web pages to provide a better human experience for a product. And so I saw that and like what they really do, and I was so interested. And so I was like, let me explore this field even more. And then I went on LinkedIn and found out that there are a bunch of free resources and free scholarships and free courses to take for you to launch into your tech career. I ended up getting a full scholarship for the Google UX design course through the Mom Project. They call it the Rise Project. I'm not too sure if they're still doing it because they did have some layoffs and all the other crazy stuff. And I started doing it August of my senior year. So the first semester is when I was like, yep, time to change career courses. And that was a little bit scary for me, because by that time you're kind of expected to know what you want to do, and there are a lot of people banking on you to know what you want to do. Not only that, I put pressure on myself to want to be the best that I can be at all times. There's this video, and I'm gonna insert it right here.
You don't have to be perfect or exceptionally great. You don't even have to be good.
But I do. I have to be all those things at once, all of the time.
Every time time I see that video, it just reminds me so much of myself because I'm such a perfectionist that it self-deprecates me all the time. And I'm learning to get out of that now. So that's the good part. So yeah, senior year, first semester, transition into tech completely. And also throughout that time of me completing the course, because I am a Google certified UX designer, I started to teach myself how to code. And at first it was like HTML, CSS. Then I ended up getting an interview with Google, and I had to teach myself JavaScript within 2 weeks. Mind you, this was for their apprenticeship program, and the questions that they were asking me, I'm not going to disclose because I did have to sign an NDA. The questions that they were asking me, they're not the questions that I would ask someone who's just a beginner at tech, because that's what the apprenticeship was for. But I digress. Also, throughout the time of me starting that UX design course, I ended up getting 2 internships, which were both unpaid, and I was doing them both at the same time too. And so I really wanted to use those internships to be able to help me throughout the course of my career and also just gain me leverage into the industry. Did those, got my UX design certificate, and as of now I am freelancing as a UX engineer for this company called Next Gen Wall Printing. I do a lot of their graphic works and also do some things with their website as well. So I really do enjoy that, but I am looking to actually like get some industry career experience, because it's a little bit different from what I'd be doing as far as like working in a company, you know. And now, since graduating college, I'm also a master's student at DePaul University, majoring in computer science and artificial intelligence with the incorporation of HCI, which is human computer interaction. And I want to make artificial intelligence or large language models or machine learning models, whatever, more user-centric for people to use. Now, despite me even telling you guys all this, it has been so hard for me to find a job in my career, and sometimes it does get to me. I'm not gonna lie to you, it does, but I'm not giving up, and I know that there is something out there for me. Like, I wish I could show you guys how many applications I put in. If I'm gonna find out, and I'm gonna put the number right there, and once y'all see it, y'all gonna be like, hey girl. But yes. Now, I know the number one question that people ask me is, do I regret getting into tech? The question is no. It's with a question mark no, only because the job market right now is just complete and utter that is very hard for people, especially women of color, to land these like prestigious jobs at these big tech companies or whatever. But as I said, I'm not getting up. You will see me at somebody's internship office next semester or next summer. Now that all that's done and that you got the nitty-gritty of who I am and how I got into tech, now let's go over the good, the bad. So the good, and also one of the main reasons that I got into tech is the money and the high-paying jobs. And I don't think that should be a bad thing to admit. A lot of people's like, oh, if you don't like it, then you're gonna da-da-da-da. I don't care about none of that. I just want to make some money. And I don't think it should be a bad thing to admit that you want to choose a job just for the money aspect, only because of the way that the society that we're living in. Like, it's $5 for a pack of lunch meat. I need the money. And also, it's just like, I know so many, mostly like CTOs or people in directors level positions that are making like upwards 900K comp with stocks and everything, which would easily probably go over to $1 million. And I just would love to have a job that will allow me to make that much money, and also working on the most innovative and insane technology you could ever think of. But let me not give you an unrealistic expectation. The people that are making 900K upwards are, number one, working at big tech fame companies, Google, Amazon, Apple, you name it. And they're also director levels, CTOs and things like that. So let me not send you off. You're not gonna come into tech making 900K. That's not what this is. You might be making, you know, cool 6 figures, but it's not gonna be up there. Another reason why, and that I think is a really good thing about getting into tech, is the balance. Not even just the work-life balance, but the balance of being able to help others while also creating amazing and innovative technology. And I think for me, another part of it is that there are so many fields in tech that you can get into. Like, it doesn't even have to be software engineering. And I think that's where a lot of people are going wrong now. And you know how people say that, oh, computer science is starting to become oversaturated and stuff? I don't think computer science is. I think everybody's trying to squeeze themselves into these software engineering roles when there's so many other roles that you can get into. You can do cloud infrastructure. You could be a cloud practitioner. You could be an AI and machine learning engineer. You could be a data analyst. People are looking for data analysts like crazy. And that's just that is really barely touching the surface of all the different careers that you can get into when coming into tech. And also the good is the connections and the resources. Let me just touch up on the resources first. I have seen hundreds, probably close to thousands of free tech courses from Harvard and MIT included that you can take just by signing up. You can really learn. I don't know too many people that have gotten a job 6 months after doing a course, because there are projects and stuff that you have to do and also gaining the experience or whatever, but that's neither here nor there. But it's the fact of that all you have to do is open up this laptop and boom, you can be a software engineer, you can be an AI engineer, you can be a data analyst right from this computer without having to pay any courses. And also with the connections that you're able to get, there's also so many industry professionals that I know. Shout out to Ms. Boykin and Ms. Fields, because they were my math teachers in high school, and now one of them is a software engineer at Google. What? And then another one is a data analyst at a fintech company. And I'm just like, whoa. And to have both of them as my mentors, oh my gosh, the connections, guys, the connections. Tech is really such a resourceful field if you utilize it correctly, because there are people who have come into tech and then they have left tech thinking that they could do these courses within 3 to 6 months, and then boom, they get the job, they get the resources, all that. It may have been like that in between 2019 and 2021, but it's not like that now. And that's where we get into the bad and the ugly. So one of the bads is that I feel like I was sold a lie about the courses. The lie being, oh, do this course for 6 months, then right after doing the course you'll be able to land a high paying job. That's not the case. As I said before, it probably was, but it's definitely not now. Now a lot of employers are requiring you to have experience even as a junior level. I mean, I've seen upwards of someone saying, oh, you need 5 years of experience to be a junior software engineer. Wonder where 5 years is coming from, where college only lasts about 4. It's not the courses that is meant to save you and get you into that field, but it's a lot of networking that you have to do. You definitely have to showcase some projects, whether that be on GitHub or making your own personal portfolio. You have to talk to people. Okay, you have to talk to people. A lot of undergrads that I know that got jobs, they got jobs from either an internship they did previously or they got it through a referral. And I ended up finding this stuff out very late in the game. And also the bad part or the ugly part is the fact that is the competitiveness. I read something the other day where it said Google is now harder to get into, more so than Harvard. And last time I checked, I thought Harvard had a 2% acceptance rate. So what you mean? Like, this is a job, this is a company. I'm not really too sure why it's too competitive. It's that competitive, but I mean, hey, to each their own, it's not my company. But also, from what I mentioned previously about you having to have projects and stuff like that, there are people that are doing hacker ranks and leak codes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I have maybe like 2-3 GitHub projects on my profile. And so with that being said, with getting into tech around this time, you have to really showcase your skills in such a way that an employer has not seen before. I know a lot of people have these like hangman or calculator projects, but I'm seeing kids building 15,000 line machine learning models, and I'm just like, okay. Or people just simply doing hackathons for fun. I'm starting to be one of those people, you know, whatever. I'm doing a Google AI hackathon, which I might do a video on depending on if I have time, and we're gonna get into that for sure. Now, this isn't ugly. The job market is sugar honey iced tea. between ghost jobs, which are jobs that companies post that are number one, aren't even hiring, or two, they're going to end up hiring an internal anyway. The ghost jobs are kind of meant to show that the company is growing and that they're hiring people or whatever, and that's just to get more money and things like that. I don't mind the business model, but I don't like it being at the expense of people, where people are struggling to take care of their families. You dig what I'm saying? And also layoffs. Layoffs have been hitting people like crazy, like between Google letting off 12,000 people, Stripe, Amazon, things like that. It's a lot. And that also goes into the field being oversaturated, because now you have people who have been working at these companies for 10 plus years going for junior level jobs. And it's like, and you're asking why? Because nobody's hiring, but everybody's getting fired. And a lot of people suffering from these layoffs and stuff too is people of color. I know my mom, she's a director of talent acquisition at a healthcare company, and she has a lot of human resource and TA friends who are still struggling to get a job, and they just so happen to be women of color. I remember this one time she was looking for recruiters, and she said it was so many women of color applying for that job. And I'm not too sure, I don't want to say it's a race thing, but I do find it funny that a lot of the people that I know that got laid off are women of color or men of color or BIPOC in general. And also another bad, which I think should be deemed as false, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, especially as somebody going into AI. AI is never meant and is not going to replace your job. I promise you, your job is safe, okay? Everybody's like, oh, Devin, the software engineer. You have to constantly, it's a whole thing that goes into artificial intelligence and machine learning. Your job is not going to get replaced. If anything, machine learning or artificial intelligence is meant to aid us in our everyday lives, whether that be with schoolwork, classwork, jobs, the way that we interact with people, the way that we do makeup and we do surgery. Like, everything includes artificial intelligence already. And so I don't think you guys have to worry about your job. I think you'll be okay. And also the bad is that I mentioned earlier is everyone is squeezing into one field, which is software engineering. There are some, and I'm going to put a list all right here of all the different jobs that you can get into, and I'm probably going to put like even some free class resources or whatever in the description box, so that you guys can know that you don't just have to be a software engineer. You don't even just have to be a UX engineer. You can be a Python developer, a JavaScript developer. Definitely go into cloud. They're looking for so many people that want to go into cloud too, and also just being a data analyst and stuff too. But as I said, y'all, it's out here. You do not just have to be a software engineer. So my advice to you guys is definitely to take advantage of the resources around you. Closed mouths do not get fed. And so if you're really looking for an opportunity, please make sure to voice your opinion, and also reach out to the people around you. There are so many mentors that you can look for on LinkedIn. Don't be weird about it though, but like, don't just be like, hey, I need a mentor. Like, no, get to know the person. Ask how they got into their career field. Setting up a meeting with them, amazing. Including unique projects. So that can include doing hackathons. You can contribute to open source projects, things like that. And the main thing is to not give up, guys. Please do not give up. I have heard hundreds of no's, probably 1,000 now, but hey, and I'm still believing in my yes, and that it is coming sooner than I think. And also remember, your journey is your own and it's unique to your own. A lot of the times, I know people want to look at everyone else's path and see what they're doing, how they were able to leverage their skills, and they're trying to do the same thing. What worked for them will work for you, and what works for you probably won't work for them. So it's important to go into that knowing that there is a special difference that you are supposed to make in the world and in the tech industry, and you just have to find that out. You have to go through the motions, the ups and the downs of figuring it out. And with all of that being said, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.